A lot of people who are watching the movie don't understand or won't realize that there's a whole opening reel, 10 minutes of the movie that I cut out. The movie started with inside a bank, a futuristic bank with robots moving along. There are people gathering money, and the bank is robbed by what looks like a maintenance man. It turns out to be Snake Plissken. And he runs down a corridor and up through the desert and into a subway station. And he finally takes off his maintenance uniform, and his accomplice is there. He's hot wiring the subway train that runs basically from Florida all the way to San Francisco underground. And very quickly, we learn that these two guys are bank robbers on a big scale, and they manage to commandeer the subway train and get inside. And they ride all the way to San Francisco, thinking, of course, that they've made it and that they're going to get away with it. However, waiting for them at the other end of the line is the United States police force. And they kill Snake's accomplice, and they capture Snake. And that's the reason that we find him in the prison in New York. Escape from New York was an action science fiction picture. But basically, if I had to be really honest with you, it's a Western. It's a Western in every essence because it's an odyssey. It's a lone gunfighter who has to go up against both the figures of authority and the criminals. And that's what Snake Plissken is. You know he's the hero. You know he's the guy you're rooting for. But he's a bad guy. He's a gunfighter. He's a guy who'll blow your head off.
You want to see him sprayed all over that map, baby? Where's the president?
Swear to God, Snake, I don't know.
Fuck with me.
I like to make Westerns and odyssey movies. Assault on Precinct 13. Actually, Starman is a kind of a Western. And the movie I'm just making now, In the Mouth of Madness, is basically an odyssey Western. It's a balls-out horror movie, okay? But it has Western elements to it. One of my favorite actors, a guy I love to work with all the time, anytime I can, is Kurt Russell. And he's a great actor, you know. He's my kind of actor. He knows a lot about the camera. He was trained at Disney in the old days to hit his marks and say his lines and do it right. Now, at the time, I had to convince the studio, give Kurt Russell a chance to play a tough guy. He was this Disney kid. And he'd been Elvis, but, you know, he really wasn't known in the movie business. And he just did a great job. He actually kind of did Clint Eastwood.
When I get back, I'm gonna kill you.
And he had this great idea for Snake Plissken. He wanted to play him a certain way, and he convinced me. He was the only man for the job.
Snake is I think, almost appears in an asexual way. I don't think he really cares to appeal to women. I don't think he cares to make friends with men. I don't think Snake really cares much about anything except staying alive and performing whatever it is he has to perform at the time.
Well, Kurt, among other things, brought a dimension to Snake Plissken that I hadn't seen. He brought a real strong sexuality. He has a scene with this girl inside of a chock full of nuts, which his wife Susan Hubley played the part, and it really sparks. And also, Adrienne Barbeau, he and Adrienne shared a few glances together. When I was writing the script, I had to come up with a name for my main character. And I had a friend who knew a guy in Cleveland named Snake Plissken. He had a snake tattooed on him, and he could make that snake move. And he was a kind of high school tough guy. He had some ridiculous qualities to him, and it seemed like that's my hero. Anybody with a snake tattooed on him someplace who goes around trying to solve some problem, and everybody says to him, "I thought you were dead." That's my kind of hero. One of the most difficult scenes to shoot was the match between Snake and this giant guy, okay? And they started fighting with clubs with nails in them and trash cans, and we used a professional wrestler, Ox Baker, who's a fantastic guy. He's about 7 feet tall, 400, 500 pounds. And the idea was they were supposed to beat the hell out of each other, except it's a movie. Well, Ox, not having done a movie, he laid into Kurt. He was bashing him. And Kurt said, "You know, you gotta calm down, man. Take it easy. If you look at the film, you'll see a couple of shots in there where Kurt is actually fighting for his life. He's putting that trash can lid up because Ox is laying into him. So finally, Kurt had had enough. So he walked over and he said, listen, Ox, listen, man, you gotta cool down. And gently, Kurt tapped Ox in the groin. Pop. So Ox calmed down.
What did I teach you?
You are Duke of New York. You're A number one.
I can't hear you.
You are the Duke of New York. You're A number one.
One of my favorite actors is Donald Pleasance. I'd used him in Halloween. I just think he's a great actor. I've always loved him. I had to convince him to do the part of the President of the United States. He said, why me? So I made up this long story about the fact that the President somehow got involved with Margaret Thatcher, and Reagan becomes a lord, and the President is basically their son.
God save me and watch over you all.
And he's come over here, and he's running the place, but he's kind of the right-wing ideologue of the 80s. That's who Donald played.
Hey, number one! You're the Duke! You're the Duke!
You're the Duke. A number one.
I think Escape essentially is escapist entertainment. It's got a lot of things around it that are swirling, that kind of resonate in the mind. But really, it's an adventure picture, and I think that's why people like it. They like it because it's funny. They like it because it's dark, and it's got a lot of action in it. Good science fiction has to have an element of truth. There's something about it that you have to believe. You have to believe it's possible. I believe that it's possible that New York could become a prison. It's not that hard. Just seal it off. There you go. It's actually kind of like that now. And I think there's something that resonates for the audience when it's true. And there's got to be some truth in any film. And I wouldn't hesitate to call something great until it kind of exists for a while. Maybe 10 years, maybe 15, 20 years. Then let's look back and see what the great films are.